Fred, I see
All right,
you.
guys, we are live now, FYI. So we've got people jumping into the Facebook stream, and we can keep the chit chat going. Just don't give away any of your great answers yet. So, you know,
And
keep talking
Todd
about what
is
you got.
also, I'm not sure if some of you've met Todd, but Todd's about to walk in the room. And
Oh,
we all know
Todd,
that
really?
everyone prefers Todd to me. So here he
Uh-oh.
comes.
Oh.
Oh, really? Todd.
Come on, Todd. Let's see it. It's really
It's
building
hard.
that anticipation.
Drum roll, please.
As long as it's not that hairless guinea pig, I don't really care what you show on the screen.
I think Todd is older than that skeleton, that dinosaur
Absolutely.
skeleton is what the
That's funny.
That's a
Hey,
little bit
Todd.
hairless guinea pig.
Yeah. I either killed the guinea pig and this is the skeleton, or this is as old as I am and it's a dinosaur.
We're not quite ready for animal jokes in our house just yet.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Moses.
Take it easy on the animal jokes. We got an RIP situation over there.
Well, that's awesome.
Okay, so
What's awesome?
The timing.
we
comedic
are
timing
live
is
on
awesome.
Facebook, and we're gonna start with just like introducing yourselves and letting everyone get to know you a little bit. So who would like to go first?
I will.
I
We
think
will.
Chris has first.
All right. So if anybody out there doesn't know, my name is Chris. This is my wife, Esmeralda. And we're on staff at the Costa Mesa campus. I know there's people from a few different campuses watching tonight. And we've got 2 kids. I'll let you talk about the kids.
Sure. Mason, who's 9, and Arlo, who's 5, and kind of insane.
That's right. Is that good? You want more information or is that it?
No, I mean, you laid it out for us. Thanks so much. That's really good.
I'm sticking to the 1-minute timeline here.
Get in and get out. I like it. It's like, you know,
We'll go
get a
here.
home run or go
All right,
home.
we'll go. Hey guys, this is Moses Camacho and Jill Camacho. We have 3 crazy, energetic, exhausting little boys who are not so little anymore. The twins are 12 now, which is 1 year away from the preteen, entering the teen world. And then our little guy is 10, who is, I say little guy, but he's now 10 and in the 4th grade. Twins are Caleb and Caden Camacho, and Ezra is the 10-year-old. Parenting is definitely one of the most rewarding and most exhausting things we've ever done. But we love it.
Yay.
Yay! Said Jill.
Definitely.
Chris and Laura Songson. We are kind of we were empty nested and kind of bounced back out of that. So we have a 26-year-old daughter who is married, who just had our very first grandchild, which we love and adore. And then we have our son who is 25 and is not married and just came back home for a minute. So we are kind of still in that empty nested phase, but kind of not, half in and half out. So
That's us.
that's us.
Both of our kids have been in and out of prison, so we feel we have a lot to share with you.
You know what? Every saint has a past, as they say.
Gosh.
Just trying to keep it real.
Yeah, remember when I said be honest? Well,
Remember?
Number. I think Efren and Monica, you're up.
That just guess that leaves us. My name is Efren, and that beautiful lady there with the awesome red glasses is Monica. We've been married for 25 years now. We have 4 beautiful, beautiful young ladies, ranging from the ages of 10 all the way up to 24. And for those of you who are wondering why there is a split screen between us, it's because I'm currently in Chicago, freezing, by the way, with my oldest, who just moved out here 2 days. We've been here 2 days now. And so I'm helping her settle in. And Monica is at home in her comfy home with two of our youngest, our 10-year-old and our 12-year-old. And we have a college student who just entered her freshman year at Monica College. And she is a freshman, and she's in Georgia at the moment, feeling homesick, wants to come home for a little bit. So her time will come in just a bit. But yeah, that is us. And anything you'd like to add, babe? I think I did well, did I?
Excellent. Beautiful.
That's awesome. Well, we are so glad everybody's joined us tonight. And before we get started, we're going to pray. Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Jesus, we thank you so much that we get to be here today. We give you all the glory, you all the honor. We thank you for these awesome humans that are going to tell us how they survived and how they do parenting. I thank you that you give them the wisdom and the courage, and you just help them speak the words that we need to hear. We thank you that you help us train up our children in a way that they will go so they will not depart. Thank you for everyone that's joining us tonight. I thank you that you bring encouragement and love to their homes. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Amen.
All right, let's get this started. So our first question tonight for the celebrities in the room is, what did you think you would never bring or do in your home, especially now with quarantine? What did you think you would never allow to happen in your room? All right. Pew, 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 pew.
In a room? This is about parenting, about becoming parents.
Well,
In your house, in your room, in your car.
I'll go first on this one. I call dibs on this question. I did not think that I would be a screen mom. I was very like, don't have any screens on in the room that my baby is in. So for the first year, Mason did not even like go near a screen, no phone, no laptop, anything. And then fast forward, and it's like his ultimate dream is to watch TV and video games all day. And then in quarantine, we put a TV in their room. So just that pendulum right over there.
Really gave up, Ez. Really
Yeah,
gave up.
just called it quits real early into quarantine too. Like day 3, guess you're getting a TV.
What is it I can do to get you to stay in your room?
Yeah.
I started quarantine 7 years ago with Mason.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
She was always been ahead of the curve.
It's fun.
Yes.
Yeah, for us, it was definitely technology. We didn't realize the battle that we would have as parents with battling with technology. I just assumed that I was going to tell them what to do and they were going to listen. And then for some apparent reason, that didn't work so well. And so, yeah, we definitely have struggled with technology. I think the aha moment for us, which I think we didn't ever think they would have phones of their own before junior high or high school. We figured phones would come into their life when we needed to communicate with them. But since most of the time they're in, sight of us, we didn't think they really needed phones until a little invention called Fortnite came out.
Oh.
And then they were bombarding my phone, which is my personal space between them and me. And so I got tired of letting them use my phone for Fortnite. So I buckled and I said, here's your own phone. Don't bug me anymore. And so that was
the end of it.
that was where we gave in.
And I'm not mad. I'm okay with it. I can always know where they are now.
Yeah, that tracking device, right? That really helps.
It is helpful.
I think for us, technology, yes, but it was the let them comb their own hair and pick out their own clothes. That for me was like, no, I can pick out their outfits, make sure they look the way they're supposed to look. And very early on, they were leaving in tutus, feather boas, whatever they wanted. I learned quickly that you have to pick your battles. And so even at 12, where you go to picture day with like, I don't know, Six Flags t-shirts that are faded and yikes, but oh well, that's what she picked. And I think she combed her hair. And so, yeah, that was the battle that we said never. We'll always make sure they look presentable. And now it's like, let's just go.
I learned early on that I wasn't allowed to dress my girls because apparently I dressed my girls. I jumped out of I jumped out of that real quick.
I'm still like that, Efren, with Todd. I'm like, he brought them to church looking like this.
A direct quote from Leanne on Sunday.
And the right expression.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't think we would ever let the kids put themselves.
Uh-oh.
Lost you.
Uh-oh.
Perfect. The host is frozen. Now we get to talk about whatever we want.
There you
Oh,
go,
we're
Todd.
back.
We lost the Gasparics for a second.
Oh, they're frozen again, I think.
Oh.
Nice.
Frozen chosen.
Chris and Laura, why don't you guys go?
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of, we have to reach back a little bit further in our memory for that. And the only thing I could really think of, honestly, was allowing them to have phones. And that was when they got into junior high back then. So I'm sure the pressure for it is even harder now than it was, 10, 15 years ago. But I remember us giving into the phone thing. I don't even know if it was a given. This is what we did with our daughter. Because she was never a really big, great in school. Not bad, just okay, average school academically. So we said, if you bring home straight A's, we'll get you a phone. Well, never in our ever dream did we ever think she was actually going to bring home straight A's. And she did. And I was like, doggone it, this girl can get straight A's if she really wants to, if she's motivated enough. So then we had to. And then at that point, it was a matter of like, okay, well, now you have to keep it. Now that you've proven it that you can, you have to maintain that. So that started the phone thing. And then for our son, I think it was the very first year of junior high, it started. And that was, I think the pressure for that is even harder because they have access to internet and all that stuff now. And back then it wasn't that bad. So that was probably the thing that I think we fell into, as all the parents do around the same time. So yeah, same goes.
That's funny, Laura.
Yeah,
Oh my.
I think she's still trying. She wants to, guys. She really does.
She really wants to.
I say we just keep going. What's question 2?
Let's do it. The second question. Oh my.
The spirit of Leanne is haunting
Yeah,
us.
that's exactly right.
You guys might need to mute her.
Okay, I'm gonna mute Leanne. Can you get your phone?
I don't know where this.
Oh, speaking of phones.
Yeah. Can you have? Oh wait, Leanne, you're back now. Every time you try and talk, it freezes up.
So sad. Okay, well, I was still here. You guys, that was awesome. And I was going to say, we have reverted to giving our kids candy for every meal. So, oh, you want to eat that? You want to eat that candy bar? Perfect. Have some turkey. Oh, you want to eat that chocolate? Okay, have a vegetable. So we give them candy for every meal. Oh, you want 2? Perfect. Have 2.
Which is why I love going to eat at Todd and Leanne's house so much.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to whip up some cookies? Fantastic. All right. So
It's bribery.
bribery at its finest. So moving on, the next question is, everybody has this. What is your parenting hack?
Who feels
Our
confident?
parenting hack, I can remember this clearly. For me, it was morning donut runs for breakfast. It was like, we just went to the donut shop, that was their breakfast, and then off to school we went. And that was easy peasy. That was an easy, quick thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
What goes with the candy brush?
Yeah, Katie Brad, I'm in for that. All right, Moses, what's your and Jill's hack?
For us, I think like our one-on-one time with the kids is kind of our hack. Like that's, we have 3 boys that are pretty close on age. It's kind of like raising triplets. And when one of them's acting out, it's like, okay, they need some individual attention. So we'll spend a day with them or take them out to dinner or like just one-on-one. Moses will take one, I'll take two, or vice versa. And that just really like reconnects them and really like makes them feel like valued and they're not fighting for attention and acting out. And so that's kind of our hack is like, you're acting out, you need some good time.
Yeah, that was definitely like the red flags. Whenever they were having like emotional meltdowns for over silly stuff, it was always like a red light would go off for us. Like, okay, it's time to do one-on-one time with them. And our boys hate school, so like one of the things that they love is when I pull them out of school to take them out to lunch. And they just get to go to lunch with dad one-on-one. That was like the biggest treat ever because one, they hate school. So getting pulled out of school was great. But they did always want to come back for lunchtime because like lunchtime is when they have like playtime with their friends. So we wanted to make sure we got back for that. That was our hack.
Yeah, that's so good as well. That's really important, I think, the one-on-one time. All right, Chris and Laura, do you have a hack for us?
They had the donut. Oh,
Laura shared.
I
her
shared
hack.
it.
Yeah, she went first.
I'm so sorry. All right. Monica and Efren.
I think our hack is because of the age
Yes.
gap between our girls. We do dinner every night together around the table
wow.
so that we can all connect regardless of who got along, who didn't get along. A good day, a bad day, we all end up right around this table, eating, talking, and yeah, seeing each other.
Wow.
Like less of a
Yeah.
hack and more of a like small miracle.
Yeah,
really.
it's more like bragging. You're like,
Your hacks are best you walking on water, Monica. Just
Cool, Monica, you're next.
it's funny.
That's really good.
This is-
I don't have a parenting hack. We don't have any. I'm like, you want candy? That's fantastic. Do that.
Candy.
Always with the candy.
Always with the candy.
Halloween must be a great time of year for you.
I appreciate it.
I will
We
say
had
one.
the
Oh,
bedtime.
Ed's turn.
thing. Todd, you wait your turn, sir. We a couple years ago started asking the boys at night what are 3 things they're grateful for, and it was kind of a way. It started because they were all like had terrible attitudes, like no attitude of gratitude in this house. So we did it as a way to like kind of help them use that gratitude muscle. But it turned into like a really quick debrief of the day, which was like has become one of my favorite things because it's like a really easy way to find out what was special about their day. And it's never the things you think it's going to be. And so that's just been really fun to see like the things that they're grateful for. Sometimes they're funny. And it just is like a good, like a pulse of like, oh, that like really meant a lot to you today. I did go through the car wash with mom. Awesome. Noted.
I think it also is helpful for me because sometimes bedtime's like the most frustrating time, and to get to hear that piece, it reminds me that I like them, and it's like a better way to end the day than me just screaming like, "Get out of bed, get it, go!" So
Very similar to Monica's.
yeah, it's a parenting hack, and it also it's funny.
Well, I'll just say this. It's not, I don't think it's a hack, but it was something that seems to be working and kind of along the lines of what Ez does. And actually, I stole that from Ez too. I do ask them what they're grateful for, and that does work. But I also ask when they're getting scolded, or if there's a moment in time where they have to be split up or whatever, I always say, and I took this from Lulu, is, well, wait a minute. How do you think that makes him feel? And just let them kind of process what the behavior they're casting out, whether it be selfishness or whatever. They process it and they're like, yeah, he's probably sad. I'm like, so what should we do? And now they're focused on the task at making that person feel better based on what the reaction is. And that seems to work for you.
God, and that is leading us right into discipline. Wow. It's like,
Way.
like Todd has the questions right in front of him.
These segues, so smooth the transition on these.
All right. So question number 3 is, how did or do you discipline? And how have you had to adjust that because of quarantine? Because things obviously got super, super heightened during quarantine. I probably yelled at my kids 95% of the day, even while I was brushing their teeth. And I had to change up my own technique on how I discipline them. So I want to hear from you guys. Let's hear from Chris and Laura first. How did you discipline your children, and how are you going to discipline that grandbaby?
Oh.
No such thing.
I do. I wouldn't. I don't know if I necessarily have advice on the active discipline, though that I think everybody's got their form of doing that. Take something away that they like. We would do that. I remember one time my daughter got in a lot of trouble. She snuck out of the house when she was like 15 at 2 a.m. So I did.
When the neighbor calls, hey, by the way, your child's sitting out on the curb with a boy. Oh, thanks.
So the next day, and that was, one of the things were piling up. So you're going to be like, wow, that was discipline. I pulled her out of public school. I got her a homeschool teacher, and I took the door off of her room.
Oh,
No more talk.
Wow.
I can't trust you.
it was a series of things that led up to like, okay, you're done.
And that's the last boy she ever talked to.
Been single ever since.
It was more, I would say, more of taking things away that they valued. And one of the things I think during the discipline time, they would hate talking to me during discipline time because I've never raised my voice to them. I don't raise my voice. But one thing I learned years ago, our kids are adults now, but when they were really young, someone shared this with me. They said, don't parent the behavior, parent the values.
Mm.
And that was the thing that we always came back to. Like, that's not who we are. That's not what we do. That doesn't represent Jesus. That doesn't represent our house. And that was always, whatever the choice of discipline was, taking off a door or whatever, it always was preceded by a conversation of, that doesn't match who we are.
Mhm.
That was always important to us.
Yeah, that's so good.
I don't know if in any of your households, if the child responds differently to one of yours, like Chris I was the yeller and the screamer in the family. And they never took me seriously. But if I would say to my daughter specifically, Dad's going to come home and talk to you, she would scream bloody murder as if somebody was beating her. And I'd be like, you can't scream like that, because she was so afraid for Dad to sit down and have a conversation with her. And it was the weirdest thing ever. And she just responded so much better to his very gentle, kind, and, redirection of her life, and and
Removal
me
of the door.
upstairs trying to swat her with a slipper was never a good.
But chancla, first of all, nice try.
Hairbrushes were flying always in the house.
Hairbrushes, yeah.
Very, very Christian.
So good. All right, Moses and Jill, give us your rundown. Quarantine discipline.
Yeah, quarantine discipline. Well, we had a different approach prior to quarantine. Then quarantine kind of kicked in. So no, ideally, Jill and I would say we kind of partner in the discipline practice of it. She's really good with like the tangibles of like the immediates or the redirecting or that type of stuff. So I'll go ahead and let her speak into like things that she does when she needs immediate results, and then I'll speak into kind of like the bigger, higher value stuff, kind of like what PC was talking about.
Yeah, that's a great team. Wow, you guys have got it.
And also the benefit of giving them phones is they love them so much that it's okay to take them away. So it's kind of a win-win for us at this point.
So yeah, so I was really thinking you were going to dive into the examples.
He cheated up for you.
How do you do that?
So I'll go ahead and tell you what you told me earlier.
We did practice these earlier.
So what she told me earlier was in the discipline part that she would always use like the example as a phone of, hey, to get the behavior she's looking for. So if you want to keep the thing that you love the most at this point, you need to follow through with the behaviors that she needed from them in order to keep the phone. So it was the immediate part. But for me, as kind of like what PC was talking about, it was always, who do we want to be? And for me, it always came to the bigger picture of, who do you want to be as an individual? Who do you want to be as a child of God? Who do you want to be as a boy growing into manhood? It was always the value of honoring God with your life, being encouraging, being positive, being the person that will uplift others. And so whatever value they broke, I'd speak into that. So if they were using harsh words, I'd dive into like, are those the words that encourage people? No. Are those the words that make people feel better about themselves? No. All right. So what words would make them feel? And so I would dive into that type of stuff. So I'd always attach whatever behavior they were breaking to the higher value of who we ultimately wanted to strive to be.
Yeah, that's so good. Wow, you
That's
guys are
rich.
a great team
That's
over
rich.
there.
And Jill does a great job with memory. And so whenever it's time to like dive into that stuff, she dives right into it.
Just watching The Bachelor over on the screen is what it is. I know what's going on.
Exactly right.
Take care of our dog so it doesn't yip and interfere. It's our fourth child.
All right, Pastor Efren and Monica, give us your scoop on quarantine or just regular discipline.
Fun that, and so it's all fun and games with me. And my wife is more of the disciplinarian in the household. When she speaks, everybody, including myself, gets in line, and we follow through. But I think for me, early on, I parented the way my mom parented me. We were young parents, and I learned that was the right way to do stuff. And even though I got great, valuable stuff from my mom, who was a single parent, I also learned that that probably wasn't going to work with my girls. Maybe with boys, maybe, but with girls, I needed a different approach, and it's taking me, I think, where I'm at today, 24 years later. I am a better dad to my girls than I was earlier in life with my older kids. So, but my wife can speak into some of that stuff. We kind of do a lot of tag teaming. That's probably the best thing that we do. We play good cop, bad cop type of stuff. Like she'll hit them hard and I come in and soften it up, and then or I hit them hard and she'll come in and soften it up. But I think we do a good job, right, babe?
Now, we sucked horrible at the beginning. Terrible with discipline. Over the top. I will say for myself, Ephraim's always been really level-headed with that. And I've broken all the rules. I did all the spanks. I disciplined out of anger. I said all the wrong things. I had to apologize 100 times. Cry, fight, feel guilty, all of it. I've done it all wrong. And probably because my girls are all different, I can't say that I learned faster. I was one way with my oldest. My strong-willed child definitely brought out a horrible side of me that I didn't even know existed because I wasn't raised that way. Yet I was always very frustrated. I didn't know how to handle her. And spanking was my thing, and Ephraim taught me a ton about, taking back. And then she forced me to read books. She forced me to learn, to study, to be a better person because I was a bully to my daughter, for real. And so the two little ones have lucked out. They don't even know what a spank is. But I did the threatening, the hair. It was bad. I'm embarrassed as heck to say it, but I was sure that I'd be honest tonight in case there's a mom out there who has dropped the ball with that. And there is a better way. When you educate yourself, when you teach yourself, when you look to people who do it better than you do it, and you learn from them. I've had to say sorry a ton of time, pray for them, and they may need therapy at some point, but right now I've done better and I've grown a ton. So I discipline by taking away the things that I can now agree with Chris and Laura and Moses and Jill. Like, this is not who we are and who do we want to be, and you lose this privilege or you're going to lose that privilege. But to tell you it was always like that, no, I would say I learned a ton. And quarantine, we haven't had to discipline at all. It's been pretty amazing in my house.
Okay.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Same.
I'm
That's
living
because we
different
have
life.
an everything
Exactly.
policy.
I'm glad you're being honest, Monica.
And then we do dinner around the table.
Maybe it's the glasses. Maybe we all need the red glasses.
We all need the red glasses. Magic.
Efren's about to get 2 boys living in his apartment if he's not
Exactly right.
careful. So
That's exactly right. You just became
And
foster.
you failed to let them know that it's an everything goes policy during quarantine. Whatever, let them have it. Let 'em-
As long as you're doing your best.
Yeah, Todd and I are not ashamed to say that we have a naughty spoon.
yeah, you do.
We don't even usually even use that. We just say, "Don't make me pick out the naughty spoon."
That
That face.
on there.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I like the eyebrows.
Yeah, the eyebrows make it, right, Jill? He's
Yeah.
Yep.
And during COVID, a
Oh.
bigger spoon.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
No, he's kidding.
That's the I'm not mad, I'm disappointed spoon.
Yeah. No expression. You decide what you think this means.
Yeah, they've had like a tap here and there, like a gentle tap, and they felt that, but we almost never use it. It sits on the table. Like you said, Monica, I don't actually want to use it, but sometimes I get to the point of just being so frustrated with my children and them not listening to me. So instead, now I try my best to remove myself from the situation before I discipline. As in Chris, we haven't heard from you.
So many techniques.
Ez is a lot better at this than I am. I grew up in a very difficult situation where there's just like a lot of physical abuse out of anger and things like that. And so I've always really struggled with disciplining my kids because I refuse to be that, but I also was never really given a lot of tools on like, what does it look like to be a loving disciplinarian as a father. So, I mean, our kids are still on the younger side, 9 and 5, and so I'm still very much in the throes of trying to figure that out. And day to day, I do well, and then other days like today, I don't do as well, and then there's some weeks where I do good. And so, but Ez is a lot more balanced and less emotional than I am, and so usually she's the one that is able to kind of help give the consistency there. So I'll defer to that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty accurate. And I'll just give 2 quick examples because we also have tried a bunch of different things. But one thing that I learned that I actually learned from Leanne that I use with Arlo. So if you have younger kids, it's like a little bit of an easier thing, but it's the energy drain. And if you're like not familiar, basically, if you're asking them to do something over and over, like pick up your toys, pick up your toys, pick up your toys, and then they're not. And I say to Arlo, like, Arlo, if I have to pick up your toys, it's going to drain all of mom's energy. And I won't be able to do anything fun today. And I won't be able to get any snacks. And I just sink like lower and lower to the floor. And then eventually he's like, okay, well, I gotta get it. Let's move on here with the theatrics. But it does work. And I feel like it empowers him to be like, that's fine. Like, I'll pick it up, but this means that we don't get to do the fun things that we were gonna do, instead of like just losing my mind, which I do sometimes too. And the other thing with Mason, we just took this from somebody else, but they basically said that they parent through relationship and always restoring, like the discipline is always to restore that relationship. And so basically, like if he was dishonest, disrespectful, or disobedient. And one recent example was that he literally cannot stop stealing candy from the church. Like, cannot stop.
Pastor's kids.
Exactly right. And so we caught him lying about it again. And we said, okay, buddy, like grab your allowance. We're going to go to the store. You have to buy with your own money this candy that you stole from Miss Leanne. Like, that is the church's candy and you stole it. And you have to write her an apology. And so it was like, that was his discipline. And it was so that he could essentially restore that relationship with the person that he wronged. And so that's kind of something newer that we're trying with Mason specifically, because
We'll bring him up on stage and have him confess publicly next time. But we wanted to just start off with like a private letter, and then
yes,
the public lashings will.
Yeah. He can stand at the door and let everyone see
Moses,
way out.
Moses, is that the 25 cents you deducted from the programming dollars?
Yeah, exactly right.
Costa Mesa deduction. I saw a decrease in candy.
25 cents.
That candy budget just through the roof at Costa Mesa.
Yeah, also no one told me that he took candy. And so then I got a note and candy and I was like, oh, you're so sweet.
Little didn't you know all the heartache that was behind that note?
Yeah, I was like leaning over my 9-year-old and be like, don't be thankful, be angry with him. I need you to be upset.
Literally.
There's a badge on his forehead.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Bring out the spoon, Leanne. Bring out the spoon.
It went from like, oh,
That did look like a spoon. That looked very much like the angry spoon. That was really good.
That was very impressive.
these are all such great tips. And thank you for your honesty and just being like so humble and so real with us. So our next question is, how do you guys get your kids to do chores? Because chores basically make them a part of the home and it gives them something to be a part of, and they are so important. So chores and homework, making them responsible individuals. Well, basically, how do you get your kids to do anything? Or Laura and Chris, how did you guys get your kids to do things?
They don't.
You know what? Honestly, I don't think we were really great at that. Here's the thing: is neither one of us are great disciplinarians at all. We're very easy people. We were very easy parents. We probably should have taken harder lines and harder stances on certain things. You know, taking the door off and doing all that's because we just got to a point where it was like, you know. But even small things like chores and homework, I do remember like, okay, well, if you don't do this, you can't do that, you know. But I was just really probably did not do good with like, you have to do this and you have to do that and make sure this and all these things happen. I just didn't run my house that way. I still don't run my house that way. So I don't think.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
you know,
perfectly great parenting too. It's like you just
But then, you know, they do get older and they're like, they grumble when they want, you know, if you ask them to help or do something where it's like, okay, well, that's where that sucked really bad. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, you offer me nothing, get out of the kitchen. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I was reading like, I think it was like a year or two ago, I was reading, I don't know, some article or something, and it had some parenting thing in there. And obviously our kids are adults. And I thought, man, that's great advice. They talked about how much we reward just for doing right. Well, doing right should just be who they are. Not, hey, I didn't do this or I did this, so now I get a reward. It's like, no, you do that because that's who we are. Versus, okay, you eat the vegetable, now you get this. You do this, now you get that. You clean this, now you get that. You know, you're not going to get this if you don't get that. And it was more about finding the balance of saying there's times of reward, but there's times of just, you just need to do what's right. And not because you're getting a reward. You need to do what we ask. You need to be, you know, you need to follow your parents' rules. You need to do your homework, whatever it is. So I thought that was a great insight. We didn't do that, but I thought it was great insight.
Sometimes we're like, because you're part of the home and because you live in here, then you do this. So I do kind of remember some of that, but we just, neither one of us were big, hard drivers on it. There was, I'm sure, seasons I tried to tighten it up a little bit more than others, but yeah.
You should have beat them more. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
we definitely needed the naughty stick a lot more often.
Yeah, Ez does a really good job. I think that I would be quick to just like barter. Like, yeah, you can have, because Mason always just wants money. When he was younger, he used to call them green tickets.
Green
Called
tickets.
dollar bills, green tickets. Can I
Yeah.
get some more green tickets? So I would have always been the one quick to just say like, sure, like here, you know, if you do that, then you can have allowance or whatever it is. But as I think set a really good foundation of the sense of there are some things you just do because you're a part of this family. And we're at a point now where there's a few different chores that we'll be able to give him and things that we wouldn't necessarily ask him to do. But there's still, I would say like half the things we ask him to do are just like, no, this is what it means to be part of a family. And I think
Not the only person doing dishes in this house.
yeah. And I also try and, again, back to the relationship piece, try and point to like, hey, it would be like disrespectful or rude to just leave your plate or your cup on the table. Like somebody made that food for you and they did that work, and the least that you can do is say thank you and take your dishes. And so trying to like, kind of program that relational connection in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's all through relation. Like our lens is very relational. Like you do this because you're a part of this family and this is how our family works.
Yeah.
Money is not how our family works.
You don't get paid for doing laundry.
No, I don't.
I would love it if I got paid for doing
Oh my
I'd be
God. Can
rich.
you imagine just making it rain?
Double click on that.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Like and subscribe, am I right?
Oh geez.
All right, Jill and Moses, give us your, how do you get the boys to do things around the house? Right?
Is like, is because you're a part of the family, like take out the trash, please, pick up your room, like we're all going to contribute. Things that like schoolwork, we kind of give them like incentives for if you get 100% of your spelling test, you can earn X amount of money, or if you get an A on your math test, or if you read a leadership book, or we kind of monetize those types of things. But like things around the house is more like, this is just, we're a family and we do this together. Give more, Dad.
No, ideally, just like Jill said, is things that aren't really going to do anything for you. Pick up the trash because it's time to pick up the trash. You don't need to get paid for that. But reading a book, well, that's gonna have a longer investment, or getting, studying for tests or studying for school. The things that had longer investments, we definitely put a higher value on that. But things like picking up your clothes, put it in the laundry basket, pick up your toys, just do that because we asked you to. If not, we're going to take it away. And so that was pretty much
Literally.
pretty much how we
I
handled
love it so much. I give them a
I give
final
them a
warning.
warning. I say, in 15 minutes, I'm going to walk in here with a trash bag. Anything on the ground goes inside.
That's exactly right. Just clean up them Lego. Nothing would make me happier than throwing away those little Lego pieces.
Monica and Efren, tell us how you did it with girls.
I would say in our house, you just have to do it. I say we pay the rent, we pay the bills. That's how we contribute. How are you going to contribute? If they're stuck, we tell them you contribute, bye, and we tell them how they can contribute. School is their job. We go to work every day. This is what's expected of them. We're going to love them no matter what happens in life. But if they don't do their part in school, their life is not going to be all they ever dreamed it would be. And so for us, we don't give away money and we don't offer any rewards. It is what it is. You got to do it. And so do we. We've always lived in small spaces. So everyone needs to do their part, because who you are in private is who you are in public. And that's kind of the way it goes. And then Ethan comes by and says, everybody doesn't always have to make their bed. And I say, yes, they do, but he says no. And so he comes by and says, okay, girls, how about this? How about you get 1 day a week where you don't have to make your bed, and then you can make them 6 out of 7. And then he says, put Alexa on to remind you to take out the trash. And so Alexa says, take out the trash, Sophia, and stuff like that. And so Alexa tells them what to do. And but like for us, is since they're little, like it's just, this is your contribution. We all have to contribute. We do this, you guys have to do that. And school, all their friends have gotten hundreds of dollars of bills for grades. We didn't have hundreds of dollars of bills to give anyway. So yeah, they just have to do
Still don't
well.
have hundreds of dollars to do.
I'm just going to suck it up with those A's instead.
We say 90 or above. That's the rule. 90 or above.
That's the rule.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're definitely gonna start sending all of our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. This was just a test to see who was going to get all our kids.
If we can send our kids to show up to test day, Monica, I'd be very impressed.
So good.
I think Monica's right. I guess I'll brag on the kids. My kids actually love to read. They'll pick up the book. You don't gotta bribe them. You don't gotta, like, they are killing it and crushing it during COVID. They're just doing really well. We don't force them. Like they wake up when they're supposed to wake up. They get dressed. They do what they need to do. And so kudos to my kids. They kind of do the stuff, and we got to remind them every so often to do their stuff. And I gotta better hurry up before your mother comes. Hurry up. But they get it done.
So good. That's so good. You guys, this is so good for me and Todd to hear what you guys are doing and how learn from you. And so when you become a parent and you have a newborn, you get lost in that child. And we're still lost. Ours is still 6 and 4. And so I want to know from you guys, how do you find time to prioritize your own relationship? Because I know Chris and Laura, when you became empty nesters, it was just the two of you. So how did you find time to prioritize your relationship?
How did we find time to prioritize when we were raising the kids? Or you mentioned empty nesting, so.
Yes, when you were raising your kids.
Well, let me see. How did we do that? I think we were swallowed, honestly, like probably like the rest of everyone else. Our son played baseball like full time, and then there was ministry. And I don't know how we, what I will say, one of the things that we loved, and I don't know if it was really a priority, probably not the same. I don't know. I was going to say one of the things that we loved to do, I enjoyed together like so much, was going to our son's baseball game. Like that was a bubble that was just our bubble. And when I say that, it was like he was at a lot of the practices, sometimes at almost every baseball game he ever had. So it was like, that was our like thing that we loved to do, place that we just was ours in our little baseball world. I don't know. I think that was something that we loved to do together, and it was nurturing for us in a weird way. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was. But as far as like
when our kids were growing up, we were at South Hills was one campus. And as we were the founding pastors of South Hills, so we were at the original campus, obviously. And in a city of 100,000 people and a pretty fast growing campus, there's a lot of people that knew us. And, you kind of go to a grocery store and like, hey, there you are, but I think Laura said that was definitely a family day, all the baseball games. And he played winter and summer and every other, season of the year. So that was definitely it. And I thought we did pretty good with dates. We would have date nights and things like that to make sure that we would spend time together. So I think those were a part of that for us. So I would say those two things.
Yeah, that's great. Efren and Monica, tell us how you guys prioritize your relationship.
Dying to hear from Efren and Monica.
The red glasses give it away.
Tell us the correct way to do it.
We're terrible at it.
Finally. Clearly you're not in
I found the flaw.
You're in Chicago. You're in the kitchen.
It's really good till about up to 10 years ago. No, I'm just kidding. We're not really great at it as to like the date nights and locking them in, but we're so in tune and sensitive to each other that we're really good about like, let's go talk or let's go to Costco. Or, or
Sounds
something
hot.
like that. So I think like we don't have any like a schedule about it, but I think we're super sensitive to each other's needs that way, and we know when it's like, okay, we need to just be together, we need to connect, we need to, you know, make sure that we're here, you know. And so really we don't have any secrets other than I think we're pretty much in sync, and we just know that we know that we know that we need to do this or that, and then usually there's no questions asked because we're on the same page, you know. It's not like, but why, or we can. It's kind of like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I think for us, we focus so much on trying to parent, you know, trying to do right by the kids, trying to figure it out, that we kind of put, you know, our stuff to the side, and we focused a lot, and it's not, I don't think that's right, because we've missed out on a few things and kind of become callous to some other things that maybe couples, you know, want to spend the time and effort in kind of their relationship. And we focused it a lot on the family, you know, raising girls from 24 to 10 and almost the first 3 or 6 years apart. So it's almost like you hit the reset button every 6 years, and it brought you back to that moment. Okay, now we got to do this, and now we got to do that with the girls. And so we're those parents, you know. We traveled, and we lived in Puerto Rico. We traveled the island, just taking Madison to basketball practices, and that was our getaway. Let's drive, pack them up. And so our two little ones one of the girls doesn't like going to basketball games. She was like, I'm tired of doing sports with everybody. And so now my youngest, my 10-year-old, is jumping into the sports world. And so, you know, again, like Monica said, we fail at this part. We fail of trying to carve out time for her and I, just her and I, and we do. It's all of us. It's all of us. We're all going. We got a minivan, load them up. Let's go, whatever we need to do. And sometimes I wish we did that better. Sometimes I wish we would do getaways, but nobody wants to take care of 4 girls at the same time.
Oh, I bet they do after tonight.
Yeah.
And I'll take those girls at my house.
Yeah.
Sounds like all you need is a dinner table and Alexa, and the kids take care of themselves.
And a book.
Yeah, don't read the book.
Hey, I think there's a lot to be said for drive time in the car and a trip to Target, a trip to the grocery store together. I think that's probably, Monica, you hit the nail on the head. Like, even still, we're like, let's go to Target, or let's go to the grocery store together. And it's just like the drive time in the car is everything. If it's him and I, like, if we feel like we need to talk through something, or we just need to figure some things out, we're like, let's get in the car and take a drive. And that to us has been a huge connecting factor, even now, yeah.
Early COVID, we did the date in the car. It was just her and I outside the front of the house in the car.
That's because the AC broke.
Well, Todd and I, we really like to dance to hip hop music, and we karaoke to our Alexa. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
you do.
Yeah. So when our kids go to bed, we sing a lot of karaoke, and we sing our feelings. All right.
You guys
A
practice each other
lot
too?
of interpretive dance too.
Yeah.
A lot of interpretive.
All right, Moses and Jill, tell us how you guys prioritize you two.
So what we did was we ultimately took advantage of the time when the boys were sleeping. So ideally, it was difficult to get, babysitters, and obviously it's expensive to get babysitters. So we quickly did the math, like pay a babysitter to come out, watch the kids, then go out to dinner. Now you're in $100 plus just for going out, just for a date night. So that was getting really expensive. Not that we didn't value our time together. It's just would become very difficult to keep realistic. So so we did a few things that developed a habit of making sure that we would still taking that time for each other. So we put the boys to bed, and then we'd set up like dinner in the patio, and then ultimately just sit on the patio and have dinner. And that would be like our quiet time. And then ultimately weather would drastically change that, so from time to time. So we learned to, and once again, you have to adjust to whatever situation you have with your boys. Our boys enjoy sleeping. So we would get up in the morning and we'd have coffee together before the boys would wake up, and we still do that today. And so that's probably, I would say, the most consistent thing we've done. The nice thing now is the boys are older, so that we can leave them in the house and we can go across the street and we can be on our own. But when they were little, we couldn't do that, so we'd have to figure out ways to do it while they were sleeping. And so we would have coffee in the mornings, or dinners in the patio.
Yeah, that's so good. That's really good. The
Are
coffee
you,
in
gonna-
the
are you making us dinner on the patio?
no,
tomorrow?
but coffee in the morning if you get up, Todd. Right, Az and Chris?
You want to start?
I do not.
That's funny. It's the same thing she says when I ask her if she wants to go out with me. Yeah, it's been different in different stages. For a while, my mom was living with us, which was awesome because we got as many date nights as we wanted. It was a huge gift there. So that was awesome. And we really do enjoy spending time together. We're actually really great friends in addition to being married to each other. So we always have a ton of fun when we get to go out anywhere. Do anything is always a lot of fun. Quarantine changed a lot, obviously, especially those first few months when it was like a pretty strict lockdown. And so we've been in our apartment for like 9 years. And we have like this really tiny, unusable patio, like upstairs balcony. And we just always used it for extra storage because that's what you do when you live in an apartment. And so then during quarantine, probably about 3 weeks in, I bought like this little strip of AstroTurf, and I moved all the boxes off the patio, and I put this little like bistro table up there. And I think you had that space, like we'd go out there for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, for like 2 weeks without the kids
Yeah,
knowing
they
that
didn't-
it existed.
They had no idea
It was
because it was always
amazing.
just like storage for junk before that. And we would leave the curtain closed and we would just go out there and we would hear them like, "Mom," and we would just be laughing on the patio.
Quietly, obviously.
Very healthy
There you
parenting.
go.
No, but I think the piece that was what we realized is like, okay, how do we make this work, and whatever it looks like, and that was the way that we made it work. And it was always morning time. I would make biscuits or coffee or whatever it was, and we just go out and just have like 30 minutes or an hour just to be able to talk and before the chaos started.
Yeah.
So
Or even like in the before bedtime, when the kids are actually slightly entertained, like they're getting to watch a show or whatever, we could just go out there. We had like a little kind of like a go bag of like, okay, we have like an hour right now. So I had like a game, and it had like just like something quick that we could like play or do, even if it was just like for 40 minutes before the kids found us. It's like a dream.
yeah.
So good. I'm so jealous.
We do love our kids, I promise.
In doses.
Yeah.
A go bag with a game.
Oh yeah,
You guys
absolutely.
Play Yahtzee or like
Yeah.
whatever you think.
Avocado Smash, Farkle. I got a whole list. I will send you a list.
Yeah, Az meet Laura, Laura meet Az. She's a planner. She has
I know. It's just funny.
detailed list of what's in each box.
That's exactly right. Mini
So,
bottles of water.
So funny.
so I know everyone is just so excited to get back to the Dodger game and the Bachelor. And so we just want to hear one more thing from you guys. We want to know if you have any last words of encouragement for parents out there. So many of them are struggling. Quarantine has really stunk. Kids are not in school. Kids are in school. Family have gotten COVID. Some have passed away. And so just any 1 minute, last minute words of encouragement that you can give to parents to encourage them.
Yes, I would say to parents, I wish we would have did this a little bit better. And I think that our society just gets more pulled apart. Our society gets more corrupted. There's TV and every movie and everything you could ever imagine. So either Hollywood's going to raise the kids, the entertainment's going to raise the kids at school's opinions about sex and this and that are going to raise the kids, or you're going to raise them. I would say that sometimes we push it off because we don't want to deal with a 13-year-old getting mad at us about something, but you have to deal with the temporary tension if you want to avoid the permanent problems. And deal with it and err on the side of Jesus Err on the side of the Bible as the word of God. Err on the side of raising them to really not just know who Christ is and, oh, we go to church, but to passionately have a relationship with Jesus. It'll make all the difference. That would be my 1 minute advice.
Good. I'll take that. Double click. Like.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, Moses and Jill, any last words of encouragement?
Yeah, I would say parenting was going to be very scary for me. As much as exciting as it was going to be, I was very scared to step into it. So I interviewed a lot of parents. I interviewed every parent I could possibly think of, just because I wanted to learn as much as I possibly could before I started diving into it. And every single parent I interviewed that had gone through the cycle of raising kids, every one of them, same answers. They grow up so fast. They grow up so fast. They grow up so fast. You blink and elementary school's over. You blink, junior high's over. You blink, high school's over. Then they're off to college, and then they're off to getting their life started. Every parent I interviewed, none of them ever said, oh my gosh, it just took forever to get the kids out of the house. Now, when you're in that season, it feels like forever. But when the season is over, every parent, whoever had that season, went through that season, they all said it went so fast. So the advice they gave me was be present. Be present in their life. Don't rush through the process. Work will be there. Bills will be there. Marriage will be there. Be present. And so Jill and I, we definitely have taken that as an advice. We don't ignore the marriage, of course. Obviously, you heard earlier, we still make that a priority. But at the end of the day, we do everything we can to be present in their life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, give that a heart. Double heart. All right, Monica and Efren.
I guess what Moses said, the days are long, but the years are short. 100%. But my 1 minute would be self-care. You're better for it, for your children, for your husband, for everybody. Self-care, even in quarantine, lock yourself in the bathroom, do whatever you got to do to self-care, because everyone will be thankful for that.
Yeah, that's so good too. It's so important.
I heard that one.
Double heart, triple heart. Chris and Ez.
Oh man, I don't know. I think I'll just tell you something someone told me, because I am in the midst of feeling like the days are long. But I think we had some friends very, very early on, as we were trying to navigate what felt like every decision was crucial and we had to get right. And they said, basically, whatever you need to do whatever you do is fine. Like love your kid and everything else will be okay. Like as long as you love your child, you can't make a wrong decision, or something like that.
Yeah.
I was on very little sleep at the time.
Essentially, like everybody has different methods and they're different. Like this is how you should parent. This is how you should. And they said, whichever avenue you pick, the most important thing is pick the avenue that allows you to love your kids the best.
That's good.
He got more sleep than I did. That's a computer.
Nobody is surprised.
That's all Ez heard.
Clicking on that, Ez. That's so good. And I couldn't agree more. I heard from another friend of mine that, just like Moses said, be present and just love on your kids is play. Just put your computer down for a second, put your work down for a second, and play with them. And then I heard from someone else that said, hug them like 3-5 times a day, hug them and play with them, because that's what they want. So this has been such a great time. I love learning and hearing from all of you that, we don't all have it together, but thankfully we have each other and we have God as our focus and we can lean on him. We do have him. So some of you are watching today and you don't know God, or you need resources, or you have questions. And so we want to help you. You can text SH Connect to 94000. There are people here from all kinds of campuses over South Hills. Do you know that we have 13 different campuses at South Hills? And so we want to get you plugged in. We want to get you to a church. We want to love on your children. I love our South Hills kids more than anything. Sunday is my most favorite day. And yeah, just visit southhills.org. Send us a text again, SH Connect 9400. Pastor Chris Songson, would you please pray us out today?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Lord, for this time. Thank you for this opportunity just to share. We pray for everybody that's listening and everybody that's watching, God, that you would just make us better parents, help us to be the kind of parents that raise kids, that love Jesus, that make a difference in this world, God, that are healthy, and God, in all of it, that we'd keep our marriages healthy as well, God. Pray your incredible blessing upon these families, God, and may we raise them, God, in the ways that they should go, that later on in life they would never depart from it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Well, thanks everybody. Go back to the Dodgers.